Okay, so we have some leaders here who wants to go ahead.
Yeah, so my name is Ajay Kumar, and I'm working in Exposum company as VP Sales, and I'm really excited to learn from this 2 day workshop in greenhouse gas, how it is affecting the overall environment, and what are the ways and remedies to mitigate those, and how trade the carbon if that is covered in the
Very
workshop.
good. Very
Yeah.
good. Good to have you, Ajay Kumar. Welcome to the program. Let's go to the next person. Tanmay, welcome back. You are on mute. You can unmute yourself.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. Actually, that previous workshop I also attend. This is my second time in this workshop,
Welcome.
and I also joined that in this program, that 11 days program also. So, just for introduction, for actually myself, Tanmay Yadav. I am from West Bengal, Kolkata. Basically, I am in the government advisory sector, and there is a lot of government project like SBM, Amrut, JJM. I work with that thing, but I have to change my like skill, upskill to this GHG protocol and that BSRB activities, a lot of sustainability reporting, all that thing. So that's my introduction from my side.
Pleasure to have you again and again, and welcome to 11-day program as well. So you are a confirmed candidate, and today we are adding few more. So see you even in the evening session today. Thank you, Tanmay, for trusting us. Okay, let's go to Soumik Bhattacharya ji.
Hi, this is Shomak Bhattacharya. I'm from Kolkata. I'm working in IBM as a functional consultant and have 14 years of experience into SAP sales and distribution.
Welcome, welcome, Soumik. I hope, by the way, IBM is quite a leader in this area, ESG, and I hope you can pick it up in that department very soon after taking today's session.
Sure, thanks.
Pleasure to have you. Okay, so who is going next? You have to start your camera. SV. I don't know full name of yours.
Hi, I'm Sarthak. I'm an architect from Mumbai with just passion for sustainability. So I'm trying to expand my horizons. So just saw this 2 day masterclass, so sort of enrolling myself.
Awesome, Sarthak. And what's your background? Which area?
I'm an architect.
Architect. Okay. And you are practicing architect, aren't you?
Yes, in Mumbai, I work for an international firm called Broadway Malian. It is a London-based company, but in their Mumbai office.
Awesome, awesome. By the way, architects are now mandatory learn this area, given that they are going to practice in UGS, BC or IGBC.
Yeah.
IGBC is useless
Yes.
in a sense compared to UGBC. So there you need to do carbon accounting. You need to understand in depth. So welcome to the program, Sarthak. Hope you will gain
Right.
a lot of
So
knowledge.
regarding USGBC, I actually hold the lead Green Associate certificate as well,
Lovely.
but it does not actually cover anything related to
That's the problem.
GHG accounting. So
That's the
hence
problem. That's the
curiosity.
problem. We know it because we do also a lot of consultancy on that part. So we help architects to implement the GHG protocols so
Yeah.
that you can achieve your eventual not only the implementation but also monitoring of your lead platinum or gold certificates.
Right.
So welcome to the program, Sathak. I
Thank
hope
you.
and
Yeah.
okay. So who wants to go next? Who is another leader? Okay, iPhone. I can see you have started your camera, so let me give you a chance. You can unmute yourself and go ahead. Yeah, we can hear you now. Go ahead. You have been unmuted, but you have to speak so that we can hear you. Your quick introduction, your name, and what's your background? Okay, so I think either you do not want to speak or we are not able to hear you. Are you able?
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, myself Mumul Reza Qadri and working in the direct indirect tax, and I also working in tax and finance account. So by this workshop, I expand my skill and area.
Absolutely. That's a very good area. For chartered accountant and CS, it is a mandatory
Yes.
requirement now under BRSR, at least for top 1,000 company and the suppliers to them. Next year, even supplier has to get adhere by GHG protocols and report on their GHG calculations. So people like you are
Exactly
most
right.
required, and you will be the auditor as well tomorrow. That's what
Yes,
the
yes, exactly
SEBI
right.
has approved. So welcome to the program. I didn't get your name actually clearly.
Ubaid Reza Qadri.
I still didn't get it. Okay,
Okay.
I will wait your name in the chat box so I can take right name there.
Ubaid Reza Qadri from Lucknow.
Okay, fair. Next, who wants to go next? Ritu Rana, of course. Ritu, welcome to the program. You can introduce to the new team members. We have two members who are joining again, and they are also our part of 11-day program starting today evening. So welcome, Ritu. Introduce to his team panel, which we have today.
Hi, Vivek. Thank you very much. And hello, everyone. So, first of all, I'm very, very excited to be here because this is a new learning for me altogether. And I will need your support, perhaps a buddy to support me through all the accounting and the kind of reporting that is required because for me, it's a new space altogether.
By the
And
way, Ritu is very humble. She teaches a decision maker. She is a coach, and she has a master degree in environment science, isn't it, Ritu?
So, yeah, I mean, thank you for the introduction, Vivek. I work with the leaders. I'm an executive leadership coach, and
Indeed.
I also have a training organization, a very small organization, which is Shakhsiyat, which is into primarily behavioral skills.
Oh, that's very good.
That's my forte, and I like to expand my understanding of things related to the leaders I work with. And of late, I've been associated with Climate Coaching Alliance and Inner Development Goals, which are two global organizations. So from there, I had a lot of contact points as far as sustainability space leaders were concerned. And my endeavor now is to understand this space better so that I can support them as a coach in their journeys. So,
Perfect area. We need people like you so that you can inculcate sustainability as a habit inside them. So whatever they do, it should be sustainable eventually. Thank you very much, Ritu. Looking forward to working with you for next 11 days as well as next 2 days so that your learning is complete in this aspect.
Thank you very much indeed.
Okay. Welcome there. Last person who wants to go last, Shweta Saraswat. You have to unmute yourself, Shweta. Yes, you have been unmuted. You can.
Sorry, sir, I don't have any question.
We can hear you, but we can't see you now. So you are not visible.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you now.
I do not have any query, sir. I just
No, we are just in. It is a networking session, Shweta. There is no query. We are taking query. We will be taking at the end. It's just an introduction, so you can network with the STEAM panel we have today.
Okay. Actually, I'm Shweta Saraswat. I'm working in Govind Ballabh Pant University of Agriculture and Technology, Pantnagar as an assistant professor since 9 years. Actually, we undertake one course of greenhouse gas emissions and how to control these emissions, how to account, how to take, means how to calculate these emissions from the soil as well as from the some airborne gases. So that's why I joined this workshop.
Indeed, indeed. That's a very right field right now. Agriculture has a lot of potential in carbon credit, and what you are teaching is that missing piece. So, welcome to the program, and I'm humbled that you have joined our program and learned from us and deliver those to those who need it in agriculture field, specifically related to soil carbon credit through the carbon accounting. So, welcome to program. By the way, there are several professors who joins our program. In evening, if you join today, you will find few of them to interact with and how they are getting benefited. So thank you very much, Shweta, and welcome to the program. Okay, so okay, I can see a few more people have started their camera, so let me give them a chance as well before we start. So who wants to go first? Pratik?
Yeah. So am I audible?
Yes, you are. Go ahead, Pratik.
Yeah. So I'm Pratik Upasni from Pune, currently working at Deloitte in Oracle EPM. So I recently came across the ESG module, which is started in Oracle EPM. So I'm just trying to explore the functional side or maybe the ESG space. I'm trying to learn a few things on this side.
Awesome. Pratik, by the way, from Deloitte, we have quite a few alumni as well who has learned from us. And you are in right place. Why? Because SAP and Oracle both together has launched this module for ESG reporting end to end.
Right.
So you are at the right moment to learn this skill, and that will help Oracle to speed up fast, roll out this module to all their customer fast. So good to have you. Looking forward to working with you for next 2 days. Okay, Kasika, I can see you have started your camera. However, we can't see you other than your newspaper. Now we can see you a little bit better. You can go ahead and introduce, and that will be the last person for introduction today.
Hi, I cannot use the camera because there is after
Okay, I can get it.
yesterday's
Yeah.
this
Girls
thing.
doesn't want to show their faces often.
No. Actually, since yesterday's this thing happened, no. So we
Fair, fair,
have
fair. Go
network
ahead, go
issues
ahead.
in our area.
Not a problem.
Hi
Introduce yourself,
everyone.
Kashika.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Kashika from I stay in Gurgaon and I'm working as a sustainability manager with Apollo Tires. So I am actually working on sustainability reporting part, but I also want to increase my area of understanding as well as get into this carbon accounting thing for the company. And that is why I've opted for this course. Thank
Perfect.
you.
Perfect. Apollo Tire requires carbon accounting to be accurate and not from the quacks you should be learning, given that you are already a manager. Welcome to Decision Maker Group, where we teach only to decision makers and people who are practicing carbon accounting. So I hope you will add a little more nuances to your learning. All of you, Miss, what a session we are going to have given that the personalities which we have today, right? Including Kishore, who is an expert in English, etc. So welcome, Kishore. I cannot start your mic, unfortunately, but you can introduce yourself, Kishore. You have joined our last program as well, Kishore, right?
Yeah, actually, I enrolled for the last program, but I couldn't join because of some important things. So I have joined
Fair,
again.
fair.
So just let me introduce myself. I am Kishore. I am from Hyderabad. I am chartered accountant having around 13 to 14 years of experience. So anything relating to accounting, I am very much passionate about learning. So this course has been the trend from last 3 to 4 years. Like everyone is saying that any chartered accountant or any finance professional should go through this course and learn something about this thing. So it will be helpful for the company we work in, like you said, like the top 1,000 companies, which is the listed companies mostly. So they are going to have this carbon emissions and carbon accounting and sustainability. So all these things will be the future trending topic going forward. And this, I think, is the right time to get this opportunity and learn something about this course and get mastery onto these things. So it will be helpful for our career as well going forward. Yeah.
Absolutely, Kishore. And welcome to the program. Thank you very much for trusting us twice. And he paid twice and then he came in. So I really appreciate your effort. And trust me, you guys are those guys who are going to make changes in this sector completely. Why? Because you are responsible for accuracy, transparency, and accountability as a professionals, right? The moment you will start doing the audit, that has to reflect in your workings. So whatever your learnings are, today's session, we will try to explore those fundamentals where nuances are required, where people like you will make difference so that tomorrow, after 7 years down the line, when government awakes and start checking your BRSR report for discrepancy, you guys will be the one who will be helping your customers and clients. So thank you very much for trusting us all and welcome to the program. Now, these 2 days, we will have a very sharp, discussions, mostly around fundamental of GHG and GHG protocol, specifically coming from areas like, how to do organization boundary, how to set that, and how to calculate a scope 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. What all will be covered? Give me 2 minutes and I will try to cover that for sure for everyone. But first, have housekeeping done. Any question, you can always raise hand or put your question in the chat box because I will be in flow. I want to complete the session, what we have decided for today. And thereby, I will take all questions after our class ends for another half an hour, right? So that's the question side. Quizzes will be there. So you might be using slido.com. So you can open your browser. If you are joining from mobile, I will recommend to have laptop nearby or another device so that you can answer the quiz live. Learning is incomplete if you don't check yourself that where you stand in comparison to your peer. Yeah, so that need to be established, and that's why we have quiz. And from quiz, we explain a lot of concepts. So do try to answer those live. Then we will have on-demand replay of video. Whoever has spot will get that. And technical issue, you can always come out of the Zoom session and rejoin it. We have allowed everyone to rejoin. So you can do that. And most of the time, problem with Zoom workings gets resolved. Now, why should you care listening to me? Let me address that first. So I have a 2 decades of experience in consultancy and investment banking. So I'm a hardcore CFA charter holder from USA, and I'm certified in ESG segment. Yeah, from University of California, again, USA. In risk and opportunity, only that part. I'm not certified for everything, but I'm a managing partner and founder of this institute, ESGPro Mastery Institute, which is a part of M&A Experts International Advisory Firm. 2 decades of investment banking, transaction advisory, ESG. I have been exposed to ESG specifically after 2019 when I started helping oil and gas company going for IPOs, right? Because sustainability became the key factor at that point in time and people started adopting it in volume. Now, recent year accomplishments are, I have also joined a corporate where I was helping electric vehicle company called LML, which is old brand coming into new package in India, as well as internationally. I was working with a solar farm company and a smart metering company called NBC. So that is my background. And there I have achieved few accomplishment meeting corporate honchos, Kiran Majumdar, etc., being in that, being CFO, have been awarded also 3 times in 2 years. Spoken on TEDx on similar topic on ESG and on Economic Times as well on their video platform. So that's my recent achievement. Let's now look into last 1 year. I have written 2 books. One of them was bestseller, Underdog to Unicorn, and then Sustainable Investing. And the third book also we have published on glossary terms for sustainable investing. So these 3 books, you can find it on Amazon, you can find it on Notion Press, and have trained now more than 4,000 working professionals and companies who required ESG transition. So we are helping locally as well as international companies for ESG transition. So we help there. And a lot of time, people like you who join our program, take the boot camps, also become part of that team where we try to execute large jobs. Now, alumni you can find from different segment and sector. Yeah, so it ranges from educational institute like MIT, IIM, IITs, Madras, as well as financial companies like Barclays, Kanta, Nesma, Federal Bank as well, Miss Banking institution people also come from renewable energy like Tata Power, Suzlon, CBRE. So you name it and from everywhere. Means if I have trained more than 4,000 professionals, so you can understand where all people come and join our program. The program language will be mostly English and Hindi. So I use both for making it comfortable, but largely in English. So if I go somewhere here, there, excuse me, I'm not a native English speaker. I'm an Indian and I take a pride in being a Bharatiya. Okay, so that's the language. Let's go to the what all we will be covering in next 2 days. Very simple. We will be covering first the importance of GHG protocol, why you should be learning, and there I will try to clarify your misconception and some concept in carbon accounting and specifically in greenhouse gas fundamental. Then we will go into fundamental of carbon accounting. We will learn those basics which you need to have in order to start practicing it and calculating carbon accounts from scope 1, 2, and 3. That will happen tomorrow live. So be ready at least tomorrow. You should join from laptop because you will be using Excel sheet along with me, right? So that will give you a hardcore data crunching practice and confidence. We will be also today doing is GHG inventorying process, that how this process work. If you are taking this as a new assignment, what and where it actually starts. So we will be covering that today. In brief, of course, we can't go in detail. Last but not least, tomorrow we will be also looking into how you can and why you should take a leap of faith in this area where there are a lot of up and down is happening. And then we will be also discussing certification opportunity. Today also we do certification opportunity to only those people who have already joined our 11-day program or they are planning to join from today itself in evening our program. So that will be, but that is a separate discussion. Whoever is interested in that can join. Otherwise, tomorrow you should be joining. Okay, so let's start from why GHG protocol matters, right? And to have that understanding clear, I would be going to slido.com. So everybody please log into, you can open in your Chrome browser or even you can scan on the next slide, QR code, whichever way you are comfortable, you can join in for slido.com voting, right? And we will have quiz and learning going parallelly. So everybody should be joining this. Without this, you won't be able to follow because only question will be shown here and you won't be able to even see the answer. So go ahead and use this QR code or just log into slido.com, which is on your screen, and put a QR code of 5741651. 5741651. Okay, everyone. And anybody who is finding an issue, just let me know. I am putting in chat box of Zoom, slido.com, that website, which you need to log in, and QR code with a hash. Automatically, you need not to put hash 5741651. That's the QR code. Either you can scan or you can directly log in. Okay, I can see a few people have started joining. Thank you very much and welcome to the quiz session. Welcome, Dr. Vijay. We have just started, so you have not missed much. Meanwhile, as people are joining slido.com, you can also join slido.com where we are, there is a live quiz happening and you will be getting benefited by that. Slido.com with a code of 5741651. You can just scan the QR code and join as well. Both way is available. And I can see you are traveling. Why don't you introduce yourself, Dr. Vijay, so everybody knows you? It's a good networking event for all of you and all of us in the segment of sustainability. You can unmute and just let people know your background and why you have joined the program. Meanwhile, I can see a lot of people have already logged in. I will give you a prompt of unmuting if you can unmute. Okay. So if you are in the slido.com, just put a Y in chat box so I am aware that you are in. And anybody who is struggling, they can also write in the chat box and I will try to address that. Slido.com, and then you have code. Okay, Miraj is already in, Pooja Singh is in. Welcome back, Pooja. I think you have joined our last program as well, isn't it, Pooja? So I see a lot of people coming again. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so 2 people is in. What about others? Okay, Pratik is also in. Good, Pratik. I have yet not opened the quiz. Just give me 1 second and I will open. What I want to know first is what is your biggest challenge with carbon accounting? You don't know fundamentals. Any one word which you think is uh, Miraj, you have just joined. Keep your 1.5 hour minimum free from now. And if you want to have question answer, address your query, or learn about what we offer in our full-fledged 11-day program, then you have to stay for another 15 minutes. Okay, so everybody is in. Okay, still I have not seen why in the chat box from all of you. And if you can't log into that, you can also type your answers in the chat box. So go ahead and answer your requirement in the chat box. What's your biggest challenge? One word. Just give me one word. Fundamental is missing. Advanced is missing. You can say GHG protocol is missing. Anything which you think is important for you, put it so that I can address in my 2-day discussion at some point in time. Right? Because this program is designed not to be slide-based, but it should be people-oriented way. Yeah, okay, voting is closed. Okay, fine. Let me start the voting. Go ahead. Now you can vote. Go ahead. Please vote. Okay, Kishore is here to understanding the concept behind the carbon accounting. What a novel idea for you. Perfect. That's a good stuff. We will be definitely covering that. What's that concept which we should be taking thread into? We will be sure, for sure, we will be doing that. Kashka says that she wants to get hands-on experience of using data and what all different sources we need to take into account. For sure, we will be covering at least 4 or 5 data points, which are critical for us, 4.5 reporting points, not the data points. Data points can be many, which we'll be reporting here, at least in scope 1, 2, and 3. Pooja wants to collect accurately and quality data. Absolutely right, Pooja. That's a massive challenge in market right now that people do not know what to collect. They know PFC, HFC, and still they don't know what is PFC 11 means or HFC 10447 means because they might not be coming from environmental background, right? So those kind of nuances are difficult to catch in 1 or 2 sessions, but yes, we will try to address that query in our 11-day session for sure. Okay. Okay, let me see. SPG wants to again. Okay. Now, I can see a lot of you have already answered that why you are here for, and that is reflected on the screen. Good. So trust me, most of it will be covered at the end of our session. But yes, it is a fundamental session of carbon accounting where practice is our focus. Please understand, we will be revolving around how to enable you so you accurately calculate and collect GHG emission from any company. Clear? Let's go to next question. What does GHG stands for? As simple as that. I have seen a lot of people sometimes get confused with what GHG stands for and how many gases are there in the official list. How many gases are there in the official list? Go ahead and try to answer that. This will help you and help me to understand the level of candidate we have today. So I will try to address those who has little information, those who have wrong information, or those who are starting today? Okay, so most of you and definitely who have attended our previous session, they must have given the correct answer. And that's why 53% people have given the correct answer. Greenhouse gas with 7 gases. 7. I'm telling you, this is the problem in market where people get lost with, how many gases are there. So these are those 7 key gases which are used in carbon accounting, not 6, not 5, not 4, not 20. Okay. So these are those major 7 gases. Major, of course, I'm saying, which is IPCC 6th assessment has brought in with definition of their new, particularly new global warming potential, that how lethal they are compared to carbon dioxide itself. So that comparisons IPCC, which is another United Nation body, has brought it in their not 5th assessment, 6th assessment, which we will be discussing. And these are those 7 gases. So let me address whoever is confused with why 6, why not 7. Please understand there is a history behind it. In our 11-day program, we cover in detail that, look, Kyoto Protocol has brought in carbon accounting as a formal tool to measure any carbon impact of a company, individual, or a nation. That was when, which protocol? Kyoto Protocol has brought that into play. When they put this description, they put only 6 gases. So your knowledge is correct, but little outdated. Your knowledge is correct, but little outdated. So 6 gases was brought in by Kyoto Protocol, which was later on added with one more lethal gas, which was nitrogen trifluoride, NF3. So that's the 7 gas. So whoever has made this mistake, never make that mistake ever, right? That is the NF3, which has been added recently. And that is the 7th gas which we need to report on. Of course, if you go to IPCC 6th assessment report, AR6 we say in short, you will find more than 150 gases which have been mentioned, which are combination of these all other gases. Okay. Again, it is a chemistry which we do not want to teach you, and neither I'm a chemistry professor, but you have to understand, if you want to do research in this area, that there are different combination which make a stable molecule, and that stable molecule becomes a challenge for scientists, scientist fraternity, as well as sustainability professionals, because these stable structure of carbon molecule which traps heat creates a problem. That trapping of heat is global warming. That's the concept behind GHG, whoever doctor who wanted to, understand. Second part was that how this gas impact us, right? That's the second part of understanding. And they impact us because of their potential to trap heat inside this atmosphere and making our earth temperature go higher, right? And that's why you must have heard, even though you are not from the sustainability background, or you are not from environmental science background, still you must have heard that there is a concept called pre-industrial level. Now, word is very important, pre-industrial level. And there is a reason to this word as well, which we discuss in detail in an 11-day program, 12-day program. So there is a word called pre-industrial level plus 1.5 degrees. We need to be around that number to remain sustainable and not facing extreme weather condition. But unfortunately, last 2 years, since 2023, we have crossed that threshold. Let's take another question to check your understanding, as well as explaining a concept on greenhouse gases. So tell me, get ready now and answer it. Which of the following is not a greenhouse gas? I think it's still coming on your screen, right? It's still not there on your screen. Okay, go ahead and answer this question. Which of the following is not a greenhouse gas? Which of the following is not a greenhouse gas, right? So you have options like carbon dioxide, methane, oxygen, and nitrous oxide. So which of that is not a greenhouse gas? Okay. So we can see that most of you have correctly answered it. 35%, means everybody has answered it correctly. Oxygen is that gas which is not a greenhouse gas, right? It looks like green means something good, but actually it is opposite when it comes to climate action. And we made that thing where that green word is now used as bad. Otherwise, greenhouse gases are essential for our survival. Okay. And why, somebody use the chat box and answer it, why we need greenhouse gases, which is a negative connotation in today's world, and we want to control the emission of the same. Okay, so let's go to another question. Which of the following is not a greenhouse gas? Sorry, let's take another question. What is the primary goal of the GHG protocol? What is the primary goal of the GHG protocol? Go ahead and answer. You have options like to reduce global coffee consumption. Is that the goal of GHG protocol? Yeah, GHG looks like some good coffee coming from Arabica coffee or Robusta gene. And given that I am in Bangalore, I love to talk about Robusta and Arabica because we have our own Mysore brand. Okay, now everybody of you have got it correct. Absolutely right. See, that's the benefit of quizzes, that you know where you stand, right? Did not have an idea for the deal of this program, traveling, so I can start some other. Absolutely, you can always start wherever you want, and you teach in DTU. I think it's a Delhi Technical University, or it's a Delhi University, right? You are teaching, and you are also a consultant and social worker. So welcome to the program, Dr. Vijay, and we will have you some other day. Not a problem. Go ahead with your other occupancies. Now, absolutely right. All of you have got it correct that this is a process. Process is another key word. Remember that that GHG protocol primary goal is to establish a process to standardize the measurement and reporting of greenhouse gases. So our challenge is to address this particular part. Now, GHG protocol helps company to measure their carbon footprint, that this particular organization has how much of carbon footprint in the environment, and which is the first step itself for reducing their impact on environment. Okay, let's go to next question. Let's go to next question. And now the question is going to be in front of you, which is that international agreement which first introduced a concept of carbon accounting on a global scale. Which international agreement first introduced the concept of carbon accounting on a global scale, right? And there is a story behind. Once this protocol was signed, there was a massive scandal which slowly unfolded in European world, and which I will love to tell you. So let me see the answer, and then I will give you that anecdote quickly. Okay, so again, there is a valid answer. Few people say Paris Agreement, some said Kyoto Protocol, some said Montreal Protocol, which is also a quite an initial days protocol. And I do agree, some people can get confused with that. And Geneva Convention. Geneva Convention, because United Nations mostly is in Geneva, and people think that that convention has given the word of carbon accounting. But that's a misconception. The correct answer is Kyoto Protocol, where first time it was officially accepted as a binding agreement for Schedule A countries. Okay, though there was a Schedule 3 schedules altogether, and Schedule A countries were mandatory, should follow along with Schedule B and C to adopt it. Okay, so Kyoto Protocol had another anecdotal evidence, and this was the first international treaty. Please understand, that's why this is the first one. Montreal also discussed about it, but the Kyoto Protocol was the one when it became a treaty to set up binding targets, right? That point in time, everybody agreed that we need to reduce this greenhouse gases, which is good to Earth, And I'm still waiting for somebody to answer why it is good to Earth. Anyway, in 11 day, we discuss in detail. So anybody who is joining today evening, they will get benefited, through our evening session at 7 o'clock. Now, it paved the way for future agreement like Paris Agreement. So most of you who have answered Paris Agreement are not wrong. But Paris Agreement got the prominence for carbon accounting, and actually is still, certain section of that agreement was not agreed or ratified, which has been ratified only in COP29, Conference of Party 29 in Baku, where AR 6.2 and 6.4 along with 6.8 got a mandatory requirement. And now in October, you will see even international ITMOs or international carbon credit can be exchanged with a surety of United Nations. So that's coming in. But let me give you another scandalous stuff around this Kyoto Protocol before we move forward. And this was the one called hot air. Anybody who has heard about hot air scandal in sustainability, specifically people who are practicing sustainability or chartered accountancy? Yeah, because this was a scandal which has put European country in this spot, and people have lost the trust in Kyoto Protocol Convention itself. So this become a quite a debatable issue at that point in time. Actually, what has happened? Hot air is a word used by media and environmentalist scientists across the world, where they found out some countries, particularly in former Soviet Union. So right, in 1990s, Soviet Union fragmented. A lot of country came out of it and wanted to do their development independently apart from Russia, and facing a lot of issues. So these particular countries or Eastern European countries have been assigned with this word called hot air, reporting. And I can see somebody has answered that greenhouse gas. Okay, perfect. Absolutely, Pooja. Pooja has nailed the definition for why greenhouse gases are required. Good job. But what I was talking about is Soviet Union were assigned a larger carbon credit allowances. All those countries which came out of Soviet Union and including Russia and few of the Eastern European countries, they started using Kyoto Protocol to, started getting carbon credits for them, right? Because it was a sellable stuff. And given that Russia, etc., was heavy in oil and gas production, they were anyway in the spotlight of carbon emission. So these countries thought, let's take a ride on the Kyoto Protocol recommendations and start putting larger carbon credit allowances to their business as usual stuff. So if anybody who understand the cap and trade, they have totally understood it. Who doesn't understand, don't worry, we will try to cover it into the carbon credit discussion. Okay, so now means it was just a fraud where people have started saying, the country started saying that my companies have a lot of allowances and those allowances need to be sold in international market and let me sell into the international market, which they were trying to influence the whole international market with inflated numbers of carbon credit. So that was a scandal, and this bring them all other countries who were supposed to buy from it, they said that this is not going to work. First of all, you forced us to only industrialized nations should be buying and protecting the environment. You have not forced the countries like India, China, and that's why India, China came into limelight as well. India was not there, but China definitely everybody started targeting China as well, and that's this word, the surplus credit without actually reducing any carbon emission, was that phenomenon which was known as hot air. So remember, this is short story. And then let's answer this question, which is on your screen. Which of the following is true about Scope 3 emission? If you understand anything on Scope 1, 2, and 3, I want to see that how in-depth understanding on Scope 3 you have. Because we cover Scope 3 in tomorrow's calculation. We will be covering at least 1 or 2 areas there. And in 11 days now, 11 days program, we are going to cover it completely. Go ahead and answer it. Your understanding of Scope 3 emission, which is true. And most of you have got it correct, actually. Most of you have got it correct. So we have a lot of people who understand the scope 1 and 2 and 3. Wonderful. And the correct answer was they include emission from sources not owned or controlled by controlled by reporting organization. That's the correct answer. Did you know that a scope 3 emission can account for over 90% of company total emissions? So actually, most of the company have their carbon emission coming from scope 3 area if they are not in steel, cement, etc. industry, which are carbon heavy industry in themselves. Okay, and that's why they are so important to measure. And even though they are challenging, people are forced to measure. And scope 3 emissions are often called as hidden emission. Understand that, because they occur outside a company direct control, but are still part of their value chain, right? So that is why this is a very important side of carbon emission, which is scope 3 emission. With that, let's understand why GHG protocol matters, why we need to understand GHG protocol, which is crucial for not only the planet Earth, which is obvious reason we are reading, but also your professional growth. Because now, how many of you are using ChatGPT? Put yes in the chat box. ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever. If you are using that, please put in chat box. Sapnil uses it, Pooja uses it, Dr. Vijay uses it, Soumik uses it, okay, Kasika uses it, Kiranji Gandham uses it, SBG uses it, okay. So at least 50% of you are using. Who are not using, I think you need to pick up. Any of those people who have not put their name, okay, Ritu has explored recently. Perfect, Ritu. This is the time you should be completely comfortable with generative AI, because if you are not, then you are missing a major bus in your own development, not for country development, not for computers development, or you have to use computers, etc. in future, but you will lose a momentum in your career. Similar to that. So anybody who is not doing it, my recommendation is joining to our program. Also join some free sessions like this in generative AI, right? Because even you are in sustainability field, of course, in 11 days, we cover a small part of generative AI, that how you can use that into your reporting cycle, specifically on GHG reporting. And when we do ESG reporting like GRI certification, at that point in time, we definitely recommend nowadays to use generative AI, how to make those prompts, how to use those prompts, and how to find where generative AI will falter you. Yeah, so that understanding also important even in GHG. Now, similar to that concept, which in 2023 only we came to understand and start practicing, but you don't know, predictive AI was there much before than that. All chartered accountants who are here today, whoever are here, they know we used to use for our ERP reporting instrument called BI. Even the SAP, Pratik, right? Pratik, Oracle, you are coming from Oracle, right? You must be enabling BI, or do you have a BI in Oracle as well, like SAP has SAP BI? The business intelligence one.
Yeah, there is a tool.
There is a tool,
Which
right?
Oracle has.
Which generally Oracle enables, so people get the predictive analysis specifically for budgeting, right? Sarthak and others who comes from the chartered accountancy background, because we used to recommend our companies that you should have a BI so that your predictive analysis remain intact and most advanced. Now that BI is there for several years we are using. Before that, only Alan Turing was talked about. He talked about the artificial intelligence in 1940s, right? 1920s. So this concept remains there for 80, 70 years, but only in 2023 March, we got introduced to it and understood the value after a use case, which is generative AI, which is like ChatGPT specifically, introduced to us that it can help us to make our life better, easier, and comfortable. Even Siri and Alexa is a kind of predictive analysis and artificial intelligence, but we never respected it as much as when we really started capitalizing on the ChatGPT. Similarly, when you understand Okay, so the importance of GHG protocol or importance of GHG accounting, even not using GHG protocol, you can use ISO, 14,064, or you can use even PCAF accounting system, whichever you are comfortable with based on your industry. Also, yeah, a lot of people make this mistake that they are in an industry where GHG protocol should be taken and they use ISO. They are in the industry where ISO standards should be taken for carbon accounting. They take PCAF. And there are people who are currently reporting for top those 1,000 company in India. And we have read that report, published our opinion on the same, who should be using PCAF and are reporting currently on GHG protocol. So that is another mistake you should be careful about. Do that research before you even take up such kind of assignment. Now, to have your professional growth, you need to make sure that you have understanding of this GHG protocol, because we are on that cusp. Of course, still people have not used it to the way when the way generative AI is doing, but there are a lot of softwares now is enabling that if you don't have a basic understanding of GHG protocol or how the accounting builds up, you are forced to use software like Oracle is introducing. Once that will come in your ERP, you are forced to use. You don't know the fundamental and you will lose your moment. Either you will make that mistake, which I have told in my 5 mistakes, which I will post it again for people who have not watched it. Those 5 mistakes, which generally people does in carbon accounting and get out of their job or get demoted in their company or get even, get their client frustrated, happens because software will force you to report on PFC 1443 and you are reporting PFC. Done deal. You will be out of job, not today, not tomorrow, definitely day after tomorrow. Yeah. So that is why this should be your motor skill. This is not a major skill, but it is that motor skill which will give you at least 40% appreciation in your salary if you become an expert in this area. And that's why I say GHG protocol matters not only for the planet where we are operating, sustainability as a practice, but also your professional growth, that you don't make such silly mistakes which people expect you to understand, right? Now, second reason for this is a person in front of you who came in 2023 July and made this speech, which I have linked it here. Let's listen in this is particular speech. Very interesting speech of his, which I would like to share with you from Google, YouTube. It's directly itself.
Is speaking as new alarming climate data is released today. Let's bring you some of that speech.
For the entire planet, it is a disaster. And for scientists, it is unequivocal. Humans are to blame. All this is entirely consistent with predictions and repeated. The only surprise is the speed of the change. Climate change is here, it is terrifying, and it is just the beginning. The era of global warming has ended, the era of global boiling has arrived. The air is unbreathable, the heat is unbearable, and the level of fossil fuel profits and climate inaction is unacceptable. Leaders must lead. No more hesitancy, no more excuses, no more waiting for the others to move first. There is simply no more time for that. It is still possible to limit global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius and avoid the very worst of climate change, but only with dramatic, immediate climate action.
So anybody who knows who is he can unmute himself and tell us who is he? Who is that person we should even care about listening to him? Is he a person of eminence whose voice matter? Of course, United Nations voice nowadays doesn't matter as well, but still, does this representative of United Nations carries that value? Okay, a lot of you are answering correctly. Hari says it's United Nations General Secretary. Absolutely, Hari. Pooja says that he is General Secretary of UN. Absolutely correct. All of you are correct. He is Antonio Guterres, who right now is leading an institution called United Nations. And he was talking about a very grave detail about that global warming has changed. And there is no more global warming, which we are learning from our childhood. Global warming is happening. We should be careful about. And you remember those 3 hours in our school? Yeah, it's still relevant, but now we have 9 hours, which we teach to our students. But those 3 hours still remains relevant today. So, and that is how the global warming word was coined, that we should be, recycling our, whatever carbon emission coming out of consumerism and be careful about the planet. But now that global warming, it changed. And that is what he was telling, that different bodies all across, scientific bodies, of course, has observed that we have already crossed that threshold of 1.5 degrees centigrade to the pre-industrial level of temperatures of Earth, right? And that is challenging because there are extreme conditions which are happening. We have already observed that, right? In Delhi, smog, Bangalore changing its, temperature so frequently. Sometimes it's raining, sometimes it's, too warm even for Bangalorean temperature, etc. So that warming is gone, boiling has come. And that's why we need to be really worried about the climate impact of even individual performing in this area. Next one, that what is that importance of that climate accounting? What is that critical aspect of carbon accounting, which force us to learn it? And these are those three sides of the triangle which you should be able to understand and you should be knowing. The first one is the global standards for carbon accounting. So now we have a matured carbon accounting system, right? Where the GHG protocol is the most widely used international standard for measuring and managing greenhouse gas emission. Okay. It provides a consistent, why you need a standard? Because the consistency of the framework can be adopted all across the industry, right? And most of the industry can follow the GHG accounting, and that's why it becomes a protocol which is widely used for organization to record their carbon emission or carbon footprint so that they can ensure transparency and comparability, which are the two major tenets of any accounting fraternity they talk about, right? The transparency, any report you prepare, transparency should be there and comparability has to be there. And this is, by the way, 2 principles of GHG protocol out of 5 is also these 2. Point here is we make a mistake in this. We make a massive mistake in this by not knowing those nuances, which makes or enables the transparency and comparability, which is hidden in 13 to 14 volumes of GHG protocol. Okay, it's not one volume. People learn one volume for corporate accounting and they move on their life. Why? Because it's a massive document, 100 pages, 150 pages. The lowest is 54 pages, right? And people tend to ignore those books, learn from recorded video who doesn't even answer your queries, and then they struggle by just not following the convention of transparency and comparability because they have not covered it. And global standard makes and enables them to do it. And that is why carbon accounting today, learning in organizational setup is very critical. Over 90%, to be exact, 94.5%, Fortune 500 companies use GHG protocol, okay, which a lot of you tend to ignore because you have already learned it through the different media, social media, or etc. You think you know everything because I have learned from the right sources. But unfortunately, you still make a lot of mistakes. That's why today even government is really anxious about GHG protocol. And just a couple of days back, they have issued a circular. Now, regulatory compliances. This is the second side of that triangle which builds this pyramid of carbon accounting, which is that regulatory compliance. Regulatory compliance, like government, Indian government, SEBI has introduced to you that you have to follow BRSR. Anybody who knows the full form of BRSR, put it in chat box. Otherwise, anyway, I will explain. In 2023, again, it was made mandatory for top 1,000 company. In 23-24, they have started reporting, and actually more than 1,041 companies have reported on BRSR. And and there are several others who have started calculating their greenhouse gases emission because they are part of their, absolutely correct, Ritu. They are part of value chain of these larger 1,000 companies. Absolutely correct, SVG, Ritu, etc. Whoever has given the correct answer, Kashika, absolutely correct. The correct answer is Pooja. And Kishore, absolutely correct. It is business responsibility and sustainability reporting. Okay, so that has made mandatory for 1,000 companies, and now they are also making it mandatory for their critical value chain suppliers, specifically 150 of those, and also making audit on the same mandatory going forward. So next year it is coming. It has been delayed by 1 year, but just wait next year and you will find it. Not only that in India, but across world it is happening. European Union also has similar kind of standard. Anybody knows the name, put it in chat box. I am just giving the full name, so you can summarize it in the short. In short, they are more famous than the full name, alike Indian standard, which is BRSR. Right, absolutely. See, still some people are getting confused. Okay, Swapnil, it is not that you have learned wrongly. You learn the most advanced regulation in Europe. What you are mentioning is most advanced, but you do not know which one is equivalent to BRSR, right? And that's the learning we need to make. The equivalent to BRSR is called European Union Corporate Sustainability and Reporting Directive, CSRD, which used to mandate 50,000. Now they have diluted it with, bringing Omnibus as a new system where even 7,000 companies have to mandatory report for a couple of years. It is just extended. It doesn't mean that they have taken back, but they have extended the Omnibus implementation. They diluted it this year itself in 2025. And that's why CSRD now became little smaller. So that is the standard which in Europe people follow. So these are the regulatory compliances which makes us to understand the GHG protocol in clarity and helps professional like us to ensure that wherever we are working as a consultant, an advisor, or as a company reporting body, we need to make sure that our organization complying with these regulations, because these regulations doesn't haunt you today. They will haunt you in next 7 years. When the BRSR, specifically SEBI, enables that book with a teeth, right? Or CSRD, by the way, has already a lot of penalties in play. And one of the person who mentioned, Swapnil, yes, he mentioned about it, which is coming next year, called CBAM. The other penalties are ecocide, right? Ecocide, how many of you have heard about ecocide penalty in Europe? Right. So if you make a mistake on environmental side of reporting, and that is lethal in nature, basically suicidal in nature, that's what they say, means your company will only go down. Is it a part of compliance? Yes, for certain kind of companies, absolutely. It is a part of compliance for certain kind of companies. And Omnibus is going to make it implemented, which has reduced the power of CSRD. Okay, now coming to that discussion, if you are taking, of course, a lot of people have taken voluntary, but it is a part of compliance where it is coming. Now, what I was talking about, ecocide, right? Ecocide specifically is that provision under European Union where if you make a mistake by reporting wrong or making such kind of environmental disaster that impacts the normal people and population, you will be penalized up to 9 years of jail term. 9 years. All the management, the key management person and their board of directors, both are liable for a 9 years of prison term. Yeah. So that kind of regulations are already in play. Fact is, by 2025, now we have more than 50 countries which are expecting to implement mandatory GHG reporting. Okay. Mandatory GHG reporting. So there is no longer my choice, my view. Yeah, for certain industry, it is already been there. And if you don't do it and you claim you are sustainable, of course, you are out of market. Third one is that side of the triangle, which creates that pyramid of carbon accounting, is competitive advantage. I am a firm believer that carbon accounting is that tool which implementing in sustainability shows sustainability department as a profit center rather than as a cost center. That's a massive problem right now in Indian institutions specifically, where we treat our sustainability department as a burden or headache. Yeah, they say that EHS was old headache and the new headache is ESG department. How many of you, somebody is there who is a sustainability manager, right? Can you unmute and share your experience so other knows that what pain everybody goes through? Where, because it is a cost center, right? Because of that, I think somebody is there from Apollo Tires, right?
Yes, I'm the one.
Okay. So do you face this, or your companies very much treat you as a profit center and you add to their revenue?
I mean, the challenge that they usually faces within the organization, the departments are not aligned. So, what
Absolutely.
value it will add, why we do. These are the challenges.
Explaining to them, each of them is a headache, actually, Kasika, if you ask me. It's a headache. Yeah, because they have a different way of working. They see already a EHS troubling them with training on ESG 5 minutes before starting any training and ending with that. And when the ESG guys approach them, they think that they will kill their time further, right? And that's another problem. And you are right there. And that is why people treat this as a cost center. But rather, if you learn the 5 pathways to materiality, which was actually which was a research paper by Harvard University, right? We adopted in our system in ESG reporting, where it is clearly mentioned that 5 pathway of materiality is actually leading to profitability. And that is why GHG accounting becomes that one cornerstone which will derive the whole thought process of your company towards that. I am adding to the revenue, saving to the cost, and developing a system which will not only protect you today, but even 7 years down the line when government will be active and watching you closely. Okay, when cap and trade mechanism will be applied to your industry. And you have seen that already government of India has announced more than 57 industry under that scheme, and they can get benefited. So now the fact here is that companies with a strong ESG performances are able to perform even on the stock market 20% better. 20%. And we have shown such kind of through revenue, through cost saving, because you have to understand a stock market is a leading indicator. It will tell you which company will do better tomorrow, right? And the moment you adopt correctly, means in the spirit, not in this compliance format, the ESG reporting, you start showcasing your company at least outperforming in ESG segment in your industry 20% better in the downturn as well as in the upturn. And it comes from that 5 steps of the materiality, increasing the revenue, saving the cost, and managing the company well, controlling your employee productivity as well. These are those 3 sides. Now, there is a global trend in ESG in carbon accounting. Okay. And what is that? That even nowadays investors are pushing for it. Institutional investors specifically, because 85% of the active investor right now in green projects or green investment cycle is institutional still, right? Only 15% is retail participation. That's why you might be hearing a lot of funds goes has their asset under management going down. Investors are now demanding, specifically those institutional investors who controls more than 40% of total asset under management to the tune of $50 trillion. And I'm saying that with all authority because I train people on CFA ESG certification. Whoever has attended it, unfortunately, they have not come today. But in evening session, they will be there, few of them. So they will tell you that 50 trillion T with capital T is that fund which is only investing and mandated to invest in green field projects or green initiatives or green companies which are reporting sustainability with authority, even though they are not green, but if they are rated good in their industry, they get that fund. Second is regulatory push for the carbon accounting. You know that European Union SFDR is another one which which pushes us to report GHG protocol. a report on GHG protocol. SEC climate disclosure rule also has brought in, but now we are worried about America, that how they will go forward, if they will withdraw or not. So we should not be discussing. In BRSR, of course, principle number 6, you have 8 to 10 questions there, and that is revolves around your scope 1, 2, and even now scope 3 emission to be reported. Starting, still it's not mandatory, it's not into the question, but it is a part of the consulting paper. Last but not least, any company who have committed or who are planning to commit to net zero, the only way to reach there is to start measuring, recording your climate impact through carbon emission, either by adopting science-based target or by recording your carbon emission transparently and accurately. Accurately is that keyword which lot of professionals even struggle. Okay, so that is the point which we are discussing, because there is no clear-cut directives. Okay, there are even no clear-cut emission factors which we are going to discuss going forward again and again. So I'm just taking the name right now, that there is no clear-cut guidance on which emission factor is most suitable for my company. Is that challenge people report wrongly. Okay, so science-based target, of course, emphasizes SBTI in short, which is a way to reach your net zero, a scientific basis-based method, right? And where the audit also happens, and that's why it recommends GHG protocol to be followed. You can also follow ISO 14064, which is more stringent in nature and also certify a company. But ideally, if you really want to improve over a period of time, you are not sure that whether we are doing right or wrong, GHG protocol becomes that evidence. Let's shift to our section 2, where we will be discussing a little bit of carbon accounting fundamentals. Okay, we will start with the history part of it, that what are those key milestones which change the spectrum of GHG accounting protocol or carbon accounting itself as a word. Then we will go into definition of carbon accounting according to the GHG protocol, because all our program is based on GHG protocol. Okay, so we use their material, their template, their tools. So I will be sticking to that. But that doesn't mean that I will not be covering ISO 14064 in 11-day program. Earlier it was 8, now it is 11. We have increased the scope because we learn that there is still some lot of gap which we need to address and requires time. So we have made it now 11-day program where we cover even ISO 14064 and even all ISO 14000 series standards, so that you have a complete transparency where you stand in carbon accounting. Now let's understand those key milestones in carbon accounting. Of course, establishment of IPCC, right, became the cornerstone where we built the carbon accounting, because IPCC is that body which is a scientific body initiated by United Nations for looking into climate change. In 1988, it came in play. 1992, United Nations also formed another body called FCC, right, for financial climate action, and they adopted this particular treaty and started following it, where the mention of carbon accounting and GHG has been used. And late 1990s, specifically, there is a question, so I'm not taking the answer, that GHG protocol actually was developed by 2 independent non-governmental organizations. Okay, they developed it, and eventually United Nations body of FCC has adopted it. Early 2000, companies across world, organizations have started adopting GHG protocol. And in 2005, actually Kyoto Protocol enters into force, which made mandatory for carbon trading, you have to have a GHG accounting done accurately, which required country to even reduce the GHG emission, which currently they are doing. So there was targets as well. In mid-2000, widespread adoption has happened, and now you know that even 95% of those Fortune 500 companies are reporting on carbon accounts. ISO 14064 came into existence in 2007. Same body, which was there in 1990s, developing the GHG protocol. They were behind to develop this international standard organization protocol as well, which also certifies you. The advantage here is that you can get a certificate to put into your company board. Yeah, so you can put that I am ISO 14064 compliant and audited. That came into 2007, and then whole a plethora of other regulations came. CDP is one which follows records data on the same, that who is following it, how much of companies are reporting it, what kind of emission they are making, even scope 1, 2, and 3. They do it in detail, and they are also a rating body. Yeah, so they enables other company to compare themselves with other similar nature in the business. Carbon markets and carbon markets also is another body. In 2020, they became in prominence. Let's just start with understanding the carbon accounting definition first. Now, there is 4 parts of this definition which we have to be clearly understanding. If you really want to understand the fundamental, this is where you have to start. In carbon accounting, if you want to do climate change, then of course, in 8 days, we cover 1 day on climate change itself, where we learn the GHG gases, where they come from, how, what, and extent. Learning those IPCC, AR6 tables, etc. we learn there. Okay, that's why we have expanded our program, where we learn those fundamentals. But if you are learning carbon accounting, which most of you understand, which I saw few of the critical question, everybody got it right. So for you, you should be starting with carbon accounting as a process. First part is that it is a process. Okay. Second part, it is that process which measures, tracks, and reports. These three words comes there in the second part. Second part is it enables you to measure, track, and report. What it measures, track, and report? It measures, tracks, and report is organization greenhouse gas emission, or the climate impact a company is making gets recorded by carbon accounting. You got the point, right? Like accounting is a process, which is to measure, track, and report what carbon organization greenhouse gas emission. Okay. But the fourth leg of this is equally important, which are the principles to be observed. Like in accounting, you have principles, right? There are 3 key principles. Based on that, whole financial accounting is built. Similarly, we have 5 principles even in carbon accounting which need to be mentioned, which comes from following 4 fundamentals. That anything which I record through the process of measuring, tracking, and reporting on organization greenhouse gases should have a transparent way to doing it. Why transparency? Because it enables organization to report their emission accurately and transparently to a stakeholder, right? Second is compliances, right? Anything which you build as a report, you are building for a purpose that your compliances are accurately covered. It helps organization to meet regulatory compliances for GHG reporting. So we have seen several reporting framework. Third is sustainability, which supports effort to reduce emission and contribute to global climate goals. Okay, so that is a basis why people learn this in effect. And then, of course, cost saving is another measure which identifies the inefficiency in your energy use, operation, and this leads to a cost saving automatically. Okay. Now, if you want to understand the greenhouse gases, let me give you that overview as well. There are 7 major gases which we record and report under GHG framework or protocols or in carbon accounting, which is greenhouse gases. First one is carbon dioxide. This is the most abundant GHG gas, greenhouse gas, primarily produced by burning of fossil fuel and deforestation. Now, deforestation is a typical language people use, that it produces carbon dioxide, but actually, if scientifically you see you are actually removing the carbon sink, which creates that excessive carbon dioxide, which we are emitting, remains in environment and doesn't get sucked up by the trees. Now, these are the major ones. 71.6% of all the greenhouse gases which we emit on Earth is carbon dioxide gas. Then comes in volume wise, then comes the methane, right? CH4 is that formula, which is a potent GHG gas right now with a 25 to 28 time in AR6. It is, revision which has happened recently under IPCC. It is called as 28 times. It has a 28 time potency than the carbon dioxide. or it has a 28-time global warming potential, GWP. You will hear this word often in carbon accounting. Yeah, because you record this data, you need to understand it is attached to methane gas. Okay, 28 times. Why I'm saying 28 times? Because that much this gas can absorb compared to the carbon dioxide. The heat it can absorb and keep it in the environment. We are worried about the heating the earth, right? So if some gases has more potent the carbon dioxide, right? And that to 28 times to that, you can understand how lethal it is. And it is coming from agriculture, landfill,
Uh,
natural gas emission. Yes, Ajay Kumar, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just wanted to ask one question. Since you said methane, government India is talking much about the biogas, which has 65% methane and rest is carbon dioxide. Okay, so does this also affect and adds to the GHG?
Absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not. Totally misconception. Anybody who has this misconception need to be removed from
Yeah,
from their
means
mind.
yeah, if we are able to burn that gas, as long as we are able to burn and doesn't produce
You
any
got the
toxic.
point, right? The moment you convert into your
Mm-hmm.
use case
Mm-hmm.
and you are not leaking it,
Okay,
you are done with
it
it.
makes sense. Yeah,
Makes
but
sense.
I think some amount of methane is also getting yeah.
Leaked. So definitely you need to consider that in your process. But understand one thing,
Mm-hmm.
how you make methane, Ajay Kumar?
From the anaerobic,
On the either
yeah,
Nordic or say a simple word if you want to use for
cow,
others,
cow.
waste, right? Waste, you convert the waste, the organic body which rottens and
Mm-hmm.
emits this gas. You increase that process in the biogas. By the way, we just did one consultancy assignment in UP. By the way, UP has a massive subsidy available for biogas manufacturing plant, and there is a buyers as well, IOC and BPCL, who are buying it very
Mm-hmm.
frequently. One of our group member only started that company, putting only 1 crore. The rest of the money was raised, and they
Okay.
did this. So point here is,
Mm-hmm.
anyway that body will emit the carbon emission because methane comes out maximum approximately 40 to 45% from natural sources, not
Mm-hmm.
from man-made sources. Okay,
Okay.
livestock is the major trouble there. Then your waste of course will emit if you will leave it in that heap of Delhi. Anybody who has gone to Faridabad, have you seen that heap of uh,
Yeah, I
anybody
know.
who's from the Delhi first of all, or NCR regions? Say yes. So you must have seen it, that how
Mm.
rotten that area is, right? Ritu knows it, Pooja knows it, yeah. By the way, it's reducing. The good news is I was just there passing by. I was coming from Karnal to Delhi and sorry, Kurukshetra to Delhi, and they are reducing it massively, okay? We are expecting it will go out.
Okay, so
Bahadur Ritu,
this is
correct.
like
Can we take Ajay questions at the end? So not other people who are not interested in
sure.
questions, we can move on. Otherwise, they will be thinking I'm wasting their time. Okay, so let's take individual question at the end. Another 10 minutes. Just give me another 10 minutes. I'm surpassing my time limit, I know. But give me 10 minutes and I will cover everything. And then we take questions and then we will take as well as if you are interested, we can brief you on the stuff, or tomorrow. Let's do it tomorrow. Tomorrow anyway is a calculation day. Third gas is nitrous oxide, a GHG with 300 times of warming potential of CO2 produced by agriculture activity in industrial processes. Okay, so mostly it comes from, again, through detrification, leaching. All these are natural stuff as well as industrial stuff, because you produce fertilizer and one of those gases are NOx. And even in coal power plant, NOx and SOx are critical to understand. Other GHG gases, which are apart from these, are hydrofluorocarbons, HFC, or fluorocarbon, PFCs, sulfur hexafluoride, and NF3. So now let's understand the basics of carbon accounting, and there I will end another 2-3 slides, and I will end today. We will not go understanding the inventory, or if time permits and you allow me, then I will take some quiz and I also explain you, or let's cover the GHG inventory tomorrow itself. So we'll start with GHG inventory and then we will go into calculation. Okay, so now basics principle which we have to aware about, that there are two major approaches. One is production based, another is which focuses on emission from a specific area, right? In production, there are different area where there is a massive hotspot of carbon emissions are, and we need to focus on that. Or there is a consumption based approach, right? Both of them we know as well. Another two methods which we know is activity based and spend based. So this accounting process is the one which we will be using to account the greenhouse gases. And second critical stuff is in any accounting process, which my fellow friend from Chartered Accountancy fraternity will approve and vet it, requires a currency to report, right? It requires a currency. Now, we are into sustainability business. We also need to, we are forced by Chartered Accountancy fraternity to convert into currency. But first currency which we use is the currency of carbon dioxide equivalent. Remember this word, it will appear again and again throughout our discussion and whenever you will do the calculation, which is carbon dioxide equivalent. Why carbon dioxide equivalent? Like we just learned in GWP, global warming potential, the unit is carbon dioxide. And then we measure the other gases potentiality, specifically in respect of methane, nitrous oxide, HFC, PFC, etc. Those all are conversion of carbon dioxide. And that's why whenever we will report carbon dioxide equivalent. That's the currency of GHG accounting. It is very critical. Once you will calculate all carbon dioxide emitted all across the world, this is United Nations data. In 2022, we have emitted more than 53.85 billions of tons. Now it is around 55. The numbers has, going up and down because China production cycle decides this right now, because the massive emitter is China. India is also showing in the same graph, but please understand, per capita wise, India is even much lower than the China. Forget about US. In the rating, we are the much lower because our system, specifically on uses of carbon, comes from our cultural background, where any religion we come from, we always worship Bhagwan in India, right? Bhagwan, those 5 words, which spells for worshipping 5 tattvas, right? Which is your earth, mother earth, sky, air, the vayu, right? As well as water. Now, all this we worship, and that's why culturally we are little conscious about carbon emission. We are also towards westernizing our society. We want everything what Western can buy and wear, but it doesn't mean that we do not understand the implication of being sustainable, and that's why our society remains there as many years as people have, historians have still mapped to. Right? We sustain it because if you have read, how many of you have read a book by Noel Hariri called Homo sapien, right? Which re-emphasizes the fact that survival of fittest, and any society who wants to be there in the long term need to adopt. Yeah, these are the two basic fundamentals that book has covered, which has established. So even though we are in ranking 4th number, because the total emission, but understand we have a massive population of 1.45 billions of the same. Major where it comes from mostly CO2 comes from fossil fuel and industry. In short, IPCC give them a nomenclature of CO2 FFI, and those are those reporting IPCC numbers, right? So IPCC has calculated its own numbers, and which is on the right hand side. So AR6 have counted also around 64 to 65% of the total fossil fuel emission coming from CO2 coming from fossil fuel. Then you have methane, which is around 18% on top, you can say 18 to 20%. And that's why Glasgow, specifically the COP in Glasgow, has put a pledge on the same that all country will now start reducing methane also equivalently. And then another thing which is very critical for sustainability reporting, and that's why I see our learned friend from agriculture side has joined us, is that CO2 coming from land use and land use change, right? Because we change our crop cycle, we have a crop cycle, we change our uses of the land as well frequently now from agriculture to industry, etc. So LULUCF is that code word, which is you will find in most of the sustainability books nowadays. Okay. There are challenges. No industry is without challenges, specifically in carbon accounting. The major challenge comes from the value chain emission. 66% of those do not report. Nobody reports about value chain because it's not mandatory, as somebody was trying to highlight here. 30 to 40% of estimated average, on an average, people are making a error. See, there are a lot of people, 90% of the people are not reporting. So they are not, I'm talking about. If they are not reporting a scope 3, there is no point I go for accuracy. You have already not reported 90% of your emission. Out of those who have reported, 30 to 40%, and this is a PwC report recently has been published, have an error in their emission measurement. And that's why you have joined the right class, where we don't only talk about fundamentals and climate action, but we also goes to that nuances, which I hope I have covered today enough for you to understand there is a difference between learning from recorded video, YouTube, etc., or learning live in the class. Last two is inefficiency in measurement. 53% of the system which we are deployed to measure has inherited inefficiency. Okay, so you are using wrong tool. You are using software blindly without knowing what exactly people behind it designed for. Okay, so one of our friend Pratik is designing, right? He will be tomorrow selling even to somebody. But the people who are buying, even though they get trained, they do not know that what exactly it means, what went behind, how much effort Pratik has taken to even learn about it and bring it to you. A lot of people just say that, okay, Oracle, give me 2 days training and let me start using, and they make this mistake. 86% of record and report their emission currently manual. And that's why I say, Pratik, you have a massive opportunity. You are in the right time in this class to learn something, not just by recorded video, not just by YouTube, but learning from right practitioners who are there. I do not feel myself as a part of this. The people who are interacting are actually teaching us all. Okay. We will start tomorrow with quiz, or you want to do it now? How many of you can spend another 10 minutes so we can make our understanding casted in concrete, done and dusted? We have understood. And there will be a few questions which will be leader to tomorrow's session. So if you allow me, then I will take another 10 minutes. 5 to 10 minutes. If you are a speed, it's a 20 to 30 seconds. We will complete it in 10 minutes. If you put yes in chat box, I will do it today. Sathak, very good. Sathak says tomorrow. Okay. Okay. Swapnil says today. Pooja says today. SVJ says today. Ritu says today. Okay. Okay. Hurry up, absolutely. Put your number in the chat box. Somebody will connect with you and give you the brief. Today, we will not be covering it because already I have exceeded my time limit of 1:30. And we have an evening session. What I will do, I will allow all of you to come today because we have 2 different sessions ongoing today evening from 7 to 9. Okay. Whoever is interested only, I don't want crowd to be there. I don't need crowd because we work with small groups. You will see it's only 10 people who have joined the program. 10 to 15 is the maximum batch we take. So new batch is starting today. You have an orientation session. Tomorrow you can also join. So whoever wants to join today, after watching that session can join. Being the part of the session can join, or tomorrow you can do the calculation and then decide whether this is the right session and right class for you to join. So 11-day program, there will be 7 to 8 clearly scheduled for new batch where people will introduce themselves, where they come from. It's a networking event. Also, we will cover basics. So we will start with the basic there. And then 8 to 9, we have a passing out batch. So last batch of 10 people who have passed out, you can meet them, that where they come from. 2 are professors, 2 are CXOs, 1 is CFO, right? 1 is practitioner of GHG accounting. So you can meet those guys, see what experience they had, why they have joined our program, how it helped their career. Few of them has a moment of realization when they are working live on GHG. Joining our program and working live on GHG is complete different experience. She's very young and she's doing that for a company, and she's using our class as a brainstorming base. So we help such kind of people who really want to do that as well. Yeah, and it is her luck. It is not me who has got her the job. She got it. We give internship, etc., but that's not a part of our promise. Our part of promise is that You will get it from the right source and best source. You will get the practitioner material, and you will get the tools and templates which are cutting edge in the today's society, not a stale tools and templates which nobody uses it. What I am using, my team is using, which is doctorates, researcher in sustainability who work with us, thankfully, right? They are using, we give it to you so you can practice on the right material. So those are stuff we will be discussing from 8 to 9 because they will get their award as well, their advanced certification on the GHG protocol, which is based on the GHG protocol, GHG accounting on the GHG protocol. So we give that. And so you can attend. You are free to welcome. And it will be open session for you. It's not mandatory that you attend the full session. You can come, join, and go. 7 to 9. Yeah. What I will ask somebody to post that link also for you guys. You are always welcome. You are a part of a system where we do not want anything from you. What we want from you is your dedication towards sustainability. And I hope that is why you are here. So thank you very much. Because few people doesn't want to take it today, I am not doing it. Question answer. It is available on the website as well. It is available on the website. But if you want to take the information, no, we don't give PDF. Look, we have a very fluid system. We do not work on recorded systems, Sarthak. Please understand, we do not have recording for you. We do not sell recorded video because I am not that person who wants to make money from recorded videos in billions and trillions of rupees. Neither my interest is there, nor that's my bread and butter. My bread and butter is my consulting assignment, where I work with people like you who join our program, become a team member, and eventually work with me. Yes, I will give you recorded video. It doesn't mean that I will not give you. For practice, I will give you a limited time recorded video, but I don't have LMS and etc. to sell you. I'm not doing that. It's why 11 days, why we do not have PDF? The reason is very simple. We have modules to cover, which is fixed. 6 modules we cover, right? We start from fundamentals. So even the person who has no exposure to sustainability gets comfortable. Like Ritu. Ritu, you have studied such kind of topics very long away, right? In our college time, correct? In your college time.
Absolutely. It's
94, 97, something like that, you were saying. So people like that, Ritu, who is coming without any background and working with, and she is a decision maker, right? There are board of directors who are also there in our group. So they are decision maker. They need to learn this subject because without that, they can't operate. 60% of all board meetings in this year, in top 1,000 company has talked about ESG and its implication to that company, 60%. Okay, go to Bloomberg, you'll find such kind of statistics even for international level, where most of the time in the investor call, people have talked about in ESG. Okay, so point here is such kind of decision maker, when they come to program, we also start from basic. So we will start with climate discussion. We will start with GHG. We will understand the GHG gases, how it influences our life, where it comes from. I'm in no voice. I want to know where it comes from. It comes from natural sources. Where? It comes from man-made. Who produces it? And person who are practitioner, they must be laughing because they know where it comes from, right? It comes from everything virtually. If it is organic, definitely. If it is organic, also. If it is a reactive. Correct or wrong? Tell me anybody who is a practitioner, sustainability professional we have, right? From Apollo Tires. Isn't it? Everything has a carbon emission, like carbon dating, right? Half-life. These kind of concept only in chemistry we learned in our 10th standard. You want to learn it again at a professional scale, that how I should use it. What is off for me in it? I don't want to learn chemistry, right? There is no point I go and start teaching chemistry. Neither I am a professor of chemistry. I'm an engineer by basic qualification, but I did CFA. I'm a finance professional completely, specifically in sustainable finance. My area of expertise is sustainable finance. I make sure that international funds comes here and invest in large company. Yeah, Kashika? Absolutely. Kashika is writing correctly. Even our action have attached to the carbon footprint. Individual can do a carbon footprint. I will introduce to you one free tool for your own footprinting. We give it as a bonus item, and as well as there is an app. There are several apps now. Yeah, you can calculate your own carbon footprint. So that's where we start. And then we slowly change gear. We go to module 2, where we understand the climate agreement and treaties across world, okay, which are critical for us which makes sure that carbon credit, carbon accounting, net zero, which are all are interlinked concept, gets covered. So we covered those treaties. Okay, brief. Of course, I will not go and teach you that. If just for example, tell me how many clauses are there in the Paris Agreement? Anybody who has referred it in the past for their net zero initiatives, at least they must be knowing. We go and learn that how many are there, which one are relevant to me, and why it is relevant to me in GHG accounting. We learn that. We learn Kyoto Protocol, Paris Agreement. This is and then NDCs. NDCs are critical for any organization today to understand and follow it, because that's how the cap and trade mechanism, even in India, has developed. Right? We introduced to you Indian system, CEA, right? Body of MOFE, Ministry of Forestry and Environmental. All these, how they have decided their NDC, we take the most important ones. We do not go every country, but we explain you what is NDC, how it works out from that Paris Agreement treaty, right? How it gets debated in COP, all that we will introduce to you. There are short videos also we'll provide you if you are a lover of videos only and want to work on videos. I am happy. Somebody was saying that I only want videos. Okay, I will give you videos. You take that. Anyway, recording of that session, I made it available very same day or next day so that you can revise and come back to the class. Okay, you come to a session, revised and ready. And it happens every day. Please understand, we have a system called flipped class system. Okay, we do not teach because I am not a teacher, trained teacher, right? I'm a practitioner. So we practice it together. So you have to equally put at least 1.5 hours. How much I put? 2 hours. So 2 hours in evening, you have to put 1.5 hours. So if you are not free for 2 to 3 hours right now, please do not join my program. And in evening, you will find several people were there who didn't have time. They were stuck with their examination evaluation. They were outside of country. They were, stuck with their auditing. Right now, a lot of chartered accountants are busy with that. So they were stuck, even though it's coming in July. A lot of them does the GST, etc. So they were stuck. But they said that, okay, I will come, give me the recording video. And you won't believe the experience which they will share today. Yeah, that itself will change your life. Yeah, that's why I'm recommending anybody who is interested to join programs, learn from us, join it in evening, and you will see that impact. Okay, with that, let's end the session today. We will start tomorrow with the same question which is on your screen. What is that most common greenhouse gases, right? We will start from there. Then we will go into learning that GHG inventory making. Then we will learn the scope 1, 2, and 3, and then we will calculate it straight away. So half an hour to definitely you have to half an hour to 45 minutes of tomorrow's class. Extending up to 1 hour is for calculation, rest is for the concept clearance. How was your experience for today? Any two people, I want only two people to share their experience of today's session. You have to start a camera. If you can't start a camera, don't share your experience. And good, I see Dr. Vijay remain there. Thank you very much. I thought you are leaving and you will come and pay for next class and come again. So thank you very much. You remain there. Okay, who wants to share their experience? Okay, go ahead. Sarthak, right? You have to say yes, no, so we can come to know whether you are audible, because we can't hear you, unfortunately. Ramdas, I can see again, he joined very late, Ramdas, right? You have joined our previous program as well, isn't it? You must have seen, we have changed this program as well. This 2-day program also has changed massively, isn't it? So this is the beauty of learning with practitioner. We change programs. We do not keep the same because there are a lot of development happening in this area. This is very fluid area. Anybody who tells you that read this book, read that book, and you are done, unfortunately, no. Even the handbook on GHG protocol is useless some point in time. Even the DEFRA emission factor people are using, right? Once you will come to our class and you will see that there is a massive problem with that kind of documents. If you are using for your corporate reporting purposes, indirectly you are making that mistake. It's not that purposefully anybody wants to make a mistake, right? Mistake word itself is that you made it by mistake. The mistake word itself indicates that. So my point is, okay, I joined late. SVG, why don't you unmute yourself and speak if you want to speak? Yes, we can. I think Let me give you the unmute. So I know where I need to focus tomorrow. That's the reason. Yes. Your question is right. Absolutely. Kashika, even our actions have a test to prepare. I joined late. Anybody can unmute themselves and talk about it. Ritu, tell me, you have attended our previous session, so let me hear from you only before we close the session today.
Yeah, in fact, I was just texting Vivek. Thank you so much. I feel very comfortable. And I'm actually happy that I signed up because this is definitely very helpful. I'll be able to connect some dots and with my work, at least I will know how I can, support.
The sustainability front to the decision makers. Absolutely. Happy to have you. And if you have seen, we have already changed a little bit here as well, and slowly we will update that. So see you in evening, 7 o'clock. See you, everyone. Take care. Good day. Bye-bye. Tomorrow for sure. Oh, I got your message as well. Grateful, Vivek. I feel comfortable. I'm glad to sign up. Wonderful. Possible to have a buddy system. Absolutely, it's a buddy system. Okay. See you guys tomorrow with Revive Energy. And we will start with question answer, cast in concrete our learning, and then we will move to the new concept, section 3. Section 3 is specifically on learning GHG inventory, scope 1 and 2. And then section 4 is scope 3. And finally, that why and how this career is changing and changing good for everyone. Take care. Bye-bye. Good day.
Thank you.